Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. I'm Jerry and I was just out in the garden here getting ready to remove the shade cloth from my broccoli, and I thought maybe I'll do a quick little video on when and why you would want to use a shade cloth. Here in Minnesota it gets hot real fast sometimes, which like we don't even get a spring, and this year was one of those years where it was cold, and then for the past 10 to 14 days it was mid high 80s, sometimes reaching 90. And when it gets that hot, your cool weather crops, things like your radish, spinach, lettuce, broccoli, just wants to bolt. So it's not the air temperature that makes it want to bolt, it's the soil temperature. And there's a couple things you can do to help out with that. One would be throwing a nice thick mulch layer on top of the soil or under your plants to keep that soil temperature down, and the other is using a shade cloth. So this is the first time I've got my shade cloth out. I've had it for a few years, I just never got around to using it, but this year I got my plants in maybe a little late, and like I said, the temperature, you never know here. So my broccoli has not had time to finish, and it was just starting to, one plant just started forming a head as it got really warm, and I didn't get my shade cloth off in time. This won't be edited, by the way, so you'll see all this. I didn't get it on in time, I should say, before a couple of them started to form heads. So I'm going to remove the shade cloth, and I'll show you kind of a little example of the one that started forming a head before I could get it on, and then what the ones look like now with the shade cloth on there. So give me a second, I'm going to remove it and we'll be right back. Alright, I got the shade cloth removed, and looking at the temps here, we're going to kind of get a little spring weather here for like the next week, where the temps are only in the high 60s, maybe hit 70, but the lows at night are going to be in the 40s and low 50s. So I can remove my shade cloth, and hopefully if it gets too hot I'll throw it back on, but I'm going to turn you around here and show you what I'm talking about. So you can see that head started forming before I got the shade cloth on, and you can see it wanted to start going to seed here, and unfortunately that one's not going to be any good. I'm just going to cut it off and hope I get some. As you can see, there's a little side shoot down there, but that's not going to taste any good. It's going to be all bitter, and I will just cut that off, and maybe I'll get a couple side shoots. And then if I move over to different one, now you can see how nice and tight that one is. That one didn't start forming until after I put the shade cloth on. So as long as the temps hold off and I keep using the shade cloth correctly, I should get some nice heads of broccoli. Same with that one's just starting to form down there. Another one down there. Another one there, which is wanting to open up. But I also do have some cauliflower in here, and the same thing happened. You can tell this one started opening up, and this one I grabbed a chunk the other day, and it did not taste very good, and it's starting to get a little purple under there. So I will cut that one off. Plus the leaves never wrapped around it and hit it like these other ones here. You can see down in there, the leaves are curling up around it to help it out. And that one should be fine as long as, like I said, I keep the shade cloth on and the temps don't get real hot again. Also, I should mention there are different types of shade cloths as far as how much sun they block out. If you get like a 30% shade cloth, that means it's just going to block out 30% of the sun. I think mine, I have a more heavier duty one, I have, I think, a 70% shade cloth, so it's blocking out 70% of the sun, and I want to use that one just to make sure my soil's staying nice and cool for these crops here, so they don't go to waste anyway, and I did all this work for nothing. So anyway, that's all I got for now on the shade cloth. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I've done a lot of work out here today in the garden, and I have some surprises and some new additions to the garden. So that video, hopefully I'll do that one tomorrow, and also show you the entire garden, because I have everything planted out now. So I'm excited for that. So like I said, please like and subscribe, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.